up the steps, then oh, you can't get across. So guys, welcome back to the channel once again, touching down from the orange zone and the sweltering Chiang Mai city in Thailand. We're touching around 40 every day, and yeah, sleeping is a nightmare, doing anything is a nightmare. Me and Black Beauty are not going to be going too far. You can't do nothing in this weather really. I seen online the other day that someone done a top 10 things they like about Chiang Mai, and I thought, man, I've never done my top 10. Today we're going to do the top 10 things I love about Chiang Mai and some of the things I don't like, because I like to weigh it up, you know. Chiang Mai's not perfect. Down at this amazing temple today, different one that I don't come to very often. Yeah, I just want to start off with some sad news. My friend was out this morning getting his food on the top right corner of the moat. Traffic was at a standstill, and he's just informed me that they was fishing a dead body out of the moat this morning. Yeah, it's never nice to hear, is it? Never nice to hear that they found a dead body in the moat. I'm sure it'll be on all the news sites later. Somebody drunk, or it could be worse, right? Could be someone murdered, or I would expect this like a drunk Thai or something that's fell in the moats, but you just never know. With the COVID hard times, people got no money and no jobs, have they? Not a great start to the day, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this little temple. Let you go up here thinking you're going to walk over, up the steps, then oh, you can't get across. No bridge. I think the bridge comes out under there, look, and they've put the bridge up. So these are the steps that lead to nowhere. So number one is the setup here for new foreigners or foreigners coming here. Chiang Mai is set up perfect for any Westerner coming to settle in properly in a new place, you know. I think Chiang Mai gets all the basics right. You don't feel too out of place in Chiang Mai if you've never been anywhere before. And places like Niman are always a good place to start because it's westernized and it's very familiar from home. People tend to start off in places like Niman, don't they? Then once they get used to the city, they start moving into more Thai areas with more Thai people, you know, live the Thailand culture a bit more. Yeah, I would say Chiang Mai is one of the easiest cities to settle into, and everything is set up for you just to settle right in. So yeah, that's number one, guys. Number two is the quality of life for how cheap it is to live here. I mean, many people argue about budgets in Chiang Mai, don't they, in Thailand, and how much you need and how much you can live on and things like that. But at the end of the day, Chiang Mai city is still cheap to live for the quality of life you get here. You live here just the same as back home, really. You got nice coffee shops, nice malls to go shopping in. It's a clean city and it's still dirt cheap, man. Your accommodation's cheap, and some things are expensive here if you want to eat Western food and things like that, but why would you want to come here and eat Western food anyway? The main thing is the bills and the rent, right? That's what really hits people back in the Western world. The rental prices and the electric bills and the water bills. I mean, all that in Chiang Mai, Thailand is still really cheap. Nice new malls to go shopping in, nice trendy coffee shops, sunshine, amazing temples like this. It's a great life for what you pay here. I don't care what anybody says, Chiang Mai is still a really cheap city to live. You can live a jet set life here and spend lots of money if you wanted to. What I'm talking about is you don't need to have a great life here. You know, even if you're not buying things, go to the malls and, you know, walk around the city. It's a lovely lifestyle for what you pay here. So number two is the quality of life for the money in Chiang Mai is amazing still. Number three is probably one of the most important when you go anywhere. The amazing Thailand people. I mean, there's no point going any foreign country if the people are not nice and you don't feel accepted, is it? You've always got to feel accepted somewhere to want to stay somewhere and feel comfortable, haven't you? There's no better place than Thailand, Thai people, especially the north of Thailand. I think you're not looked at different down the street. You just you're just another face, and you get about your day and nobody cares about you're a foreigner. They've seen foreigners so many times here that it's just normal here. Everybody's nice to you. You're just another face in the street and you're accepted. Obviously there's some different rules here for foreigners, which some of them I don't like either, like the dual payment system for places and attractions around the city. But when it comes to the people, can't fault them, man, can't fault them. They're such a chilled nation as well. Seeing the news back home and all around the world, it's all panic, man. Back in England, everybody's panicking, just going on and on and on. In Thailand, yeah, they're suffering, but they just get about their day. They just get on with life here and deal with it. That's what it seems like to me anyway. For me, the Thai people is one of the main things why I want to stay here. I mean, if the people are not accepting you, you wouldn't want to be in that country, would you? And Thailand is one of the best for friendly people. Yeah, so number 4 is the accommodation, and the cheap accommodation you can find here and what you can get for your money. I mean, it's probably the same as, what was it, number 2? It's probably the same as the quality of life for money, number 2, but yeah, I wanted to do this one separate. You can find everything here, especially now you can find some right bargains. And all right, it might not be the Ritz, but you're gonna find a clean place in a nice building. What can you say about the rent here? I think that's why a lot of people stay here as well, isn't it? I mean, that's the reason why I've been able to stay here for so long as well. I get lots of questions about people wondering where they should stay, how they're gonna find somewhere to stay. Book a few nights before you come to Chiang Mai, then head out on foot. And there's accommodation everywhere, and they're still getting built now. Even with a pandemic going on, there is major construction going on and major new apartments getting built. Yeah, there's no problem for finding decent, cheap accommodation in Chiang Mai. Number 5 is one you're all gonna like, the amazing Thailand food. What can you say about it that hasn't already been said? Every street corner, everywhere you go, there's going to be food. You name it, any road you walk down, any street, any area of the city, no matter what part of the city you live in, what area you're staying, even if you don't want to walk too far, it's so easy to get food in Thailand. You can be lazy and just walk outside your door every night and there's going to be a food store there selling some sort of food. They even get it delivered in Thailand by Grab. People don't even go outside the door and they get deliveries. You can cook your own food, a lot of people do. I would like to cook my own food more really, but it's just so easy with the food here that it works out cheaper as well if you just go out and eat all the time. Yeah, the Thai food needs no introduction. It's near the top of the list as well, why I love it here. It's just in abundance everywhere you go. Number 6 on my top 10 favourite things about Chiang Mai is the nature and the mountains all around the city. I've said this 1,000 times on other vlogs. Chiang Mai is just great if you want to get away in nature. You have got the best of both worlds in Chiang Mai. Within 5 minutes on a bicycle, 5-10 minutes, you can be somewhere where you think you're in the middle of the jungle, middle of the mountains. And I mean, 1 hour you can be in the city doing things, and in the next hour you can be oh, got the dogs on the go, so I'm going to walk back around this way. Yep, so I was just getting chased by a few dogs then, and they wasn't giving up. 40°C heat, so you're gonna have to put the camera in the shade a little bit. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, the nature and the mountains all around, man. It's just, Chiang Mai is one of the best for that. Some people like the beach, and I can understand why people like the seaside and the beach, but for me it's always been the mountains I prefer. I mean, I'm from the coast where I live in England, so maybe that's why I prefer the mountains a bit more, because I've been spoiled my whole life living on the coast. So number 7 is the size of the city and how flat the city is. I mean, back home I'm used to, up and down hills, anywhere I walk in, anywhere I cycle. But in Chiang Mai it just feels like I can cycle just feels like you can cycle forever because it's flat, man. It's flat. I know there's mountains all around, and if you go outside of the city, you're gonna be climbing a lot. If you go out the city, people say Chiang Mai's a big city. I don't think Chiang Mai's a big city. Not the city centre, maybe the outskirts. I know Chiang Mai outskirts is quite a big area, but Chiang Mai city centre, man, in around the city, it's small. It's really small. You can walk around here if you wanted. If it wasn't for the heat, it would be an easy city to walk around. I mean, when I cycled 10-20 miles here, it feels nothing. Back home, 10 or 20 miles would be, I would probably have to stop like 3 or 4 times to cycle up that far, but because you're rolling most of the time, you haven't got to put in the pedal power so much. I'm from a small city back home, a small town I should say, and yeah, Chiang Mai just reminds me of where I'm from really, and it's the perfect size for me. I lived in Chiang Rai before. Chiang Rai is always my favourite place. Maybe when I'm older again, around 60, 70, Chiang Rai will be the perfect place for me to live because it's just so quiet in Chiang Rai. So yeah, number 7 is the size of the city and how flat the city is. Number 8 on my top 10 list of things I love about Chiang Mai is, we're in one now, the ultimate chill zone temples. The temples are just amazing for de-stressing. If you're stressed back home and you're looking to come to Chiang Mai to de-stress, and you know, maybe you've got some problems with depression or something as well. I could feel it the first few weeks I was here. Totally less stress and less worries, you know. And these temples are just perfect. I come to them every day and have a little chill out. It sorts me out for the rest of the day and keeps me calm. These are the places where I come to for an hour a day, and you know, everything's just a lot better after that. It's the ultimate de-stress zone. Chiang Mai temples or Thailand temples. So number 9 on the list is probably one that you're all not gonna like or be happy with. Is Chiang Mai is not a party city. This is one reason why I love Chiang Mai, because yeah, I've done all my partying. I like the north of Thailand because how chilled it is and keeps me out of trouble, you know. If you haven't got a carrot dangling in front of you, you can't fall into the trap of, you know, that downward spiral that can happen in Thailand. A lot of people come here and end up in a mess, don't they? You end up in a right mess with all the treats that Thailand has to offer, the women, the booze, and you know, you can find that here, of course you can. Chiang Mai's got a bar area, but when you compare it to Bangkok in places like Pattaya, it's nothing, man. Chiang Mai closes before midnight. I mean, you can find spots that are open, bars and things like that down Loi Kro, but yeah, if you're looking to come to Thailand to party, Chiang Mai's never high on the list of places to party. I mean, I know a lot of Westerners come here and they hate Chiang Mai for that. They don't come here for that reason. They like the party scene, go to Pattaya, Bangkok. This is why I chose Chiang Mai, because it's quiet. You can get your head down. You're not in the pubs every day. That's not my style. I like to come here and chill and live a healthy life. Yeah, Chiang Mai's perfect for that. But if you want the party scene in Chiang Mai, you can find it as well. If you want the women, if you want the beers, and you want the little party life, of course you can find it in Chiang Mai. But this is why it's special here, because it's a great city. It's not a party city. I think that's a major plus about Chiang Mai. But not everybody's going to agree with that, and I understand. I used to live for the weekend back in England. I would be in the clubs all weekend, and yeah, my life took a big change, and this is what I enjoy in life now, just quiet and peaceful, living a clean life. So yeah, number 9 is Chiang Mai is not a party city. So number 10, and the final one on the list, guys. I've mentioned this one before, but yeah, this one's for Black Beauty. Just how easy it is to cycle in Chiang Mai, man. A lot of people say how dangerous it is, and Chiang Mai is not a great city for cycling. I have to 100% disagree on that. I mean, I'm the biggest scaredy cat going. If somewhere ain't safe to cycle, man, or do something, I will not be doing it. Of course, it's dangerous as well. Of course, anywhere's dangerous. If I'm riding on the main road back in England, it's dangerous. And all right, Chiang Mai in Thailand is more of a risk than England because the cars on the road and the cars maybe haven't got MOTs, and the drivers get drunk and they're a bit more ruthless and dodgy on the roads, which is true. But I think in and around Chiang Mai city, it's a good city to cycle. Okay, outside the city, big accidents do happen, and on the highways, it's dangerous. I mean, inside the city centre, it can be dangerous as well. I mean, I don't mean come here, you got your headphones on, you're on your bike. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be in an accident like that. I'm talking about you're going out on your bike, you got your head screwed on. The Thai people are a bit crazy on the roads, where you'll see some guy going like 50 mile an hour and he's on the phone to his mate, one-handed on a scooter. It's dangerous, but as long as you got your head screwed on and you're careful when you're out. I mean, I'm not careful all the time. Sometimes it's such a relaxed way of life here. You can't stay on it all the time because Thailand's so relaxed. Sometimes you'll be away with the fairies and thinking about something else. But as long as you're safe here and you got your head screwed on, Chiang Mai is a great place to be cycling, I think. That's my 10 things I love about Chiang Mai. I wouldn't be doing myself any favours if I didn't mention some things I don't like about Chiang Mai as well. A couple of them are obvious in why a lot of people don't come here and why a lot of people stay away from Chiang Mai at certain times of the year. Of course, the smoke, right? The smoky season. It's one of the main reasons why people don't come here. And it's one of the main things that let down Chiang Mai so much, man. This city would be absolutely near perfect, I think, if they could tackle the smoky season in some sort of way. This year has been lucky for us. We had a real short smoky season. It really brings down the mood in the city, and of course it's not healthy and it can cause problems. It was causing me problems this year for the 2 or 3 weeks that it was here. I mean, I've done a vlog about how bad it was this year, but I never put it up because the rains come and the smoke finished. In the vlog, I was not happy at all because my eyes were suffering and my headaches. But I'm so glad that it finished within a couple of weeks this year. But I'm not going to let that judge my opinion on Chiang Mai. Maybe when it is bad again, I will head off to Da Nang or somewhere down south in the future. So yeah, the smoky season, everybody knows that one, and it is a major downside. The traffic can get pretty busy. So I think around the moat and things, it's a small area, I think, inside the city centre, and when the traffic's really bad, when school time and rush hour in the mornings and leaving work, the congestion can get a bit crazy, and you can be stuck in traffic for a little while. But when you compare it to places like Bangkok and London, it's nothing, man. The traffic will soon start flowing again in Chiang Mai, but I can see why the traffic and the pollution from the vehicles is a problem in Chiang Mai. So another con about Chiang Mai could be the amount of tourists that come here. Obviously not now. I've got the old city to myself most days now, and it's something I will never forget. I've never seen this city like this before, and probably never will again. I mean, where I live, south of the moat, south of the city, there's not many Farangs that live down there really. Of course there's Farangs everywhere, but in Chiang Mai it's not like that all year round. Of course you got the low season like now where it's baking hot and not a lot of tourists would be here at this time of year anyway. I think for tourists, Chiang Mai is just a passing city where they just come and have a look at Chiang Mai and then they move on again. The Farangs that live in Chiang Mai are the ones that, they like this way of life and they like the quiet life and like to settle here. The real party young tourists, maybe, they come to Chiang Mai just to visit for a week or two, then they're off again. So the last one I wanted to mention is a plus and can also be a minus really. the airport in Chiang Mai. The plus side of it is seeing the airport's right in the city. You can get to it within 5 minutes from most places. I mean, you can see the airport from where I live. You can see it from Niman. You can get to it no problems. I mean, when I used to go to do my visa runs when I was here last time, I used to walk to the airport, man. I used to walk from my apartment to the airport to get my plane, and when I come back I used to walk from the airport back to my apartment again. When the airport's right in the city, you've got airport noise, right? You've got planes overhead, and some areas of the city, I know when I lived in Niman, that was a bit of a thing that peed me off, you know, having the planes going over all night and all day. But I've brought this up before on the channel, and you guys have said it's never bothered you when the planes go overhead. But yeah, like I said, it's a plus and a minus, right? It's a plus, the airport's nice and close, and with it being close, it's going to be a little bit noisy. So that's my 10 things about what I love about Chiang Mai, guys. I thought I would just do that one today while I'm out walking in the temple. I've got some vlogs I'm going to be putting up, maybe not so frequent until I get back out again, but yeah, still going to be trickling out the vlogs. So I will catch you all in the next one, guys. So take it easy, man. Take it easy.